Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today we're doing a little Halloween special. This video is going to be going up on Halloween, and I figured what's the best way to commemorate Halloween other than ranking all of the Halloween candies. I will say this isn't all of them. This is just another tier list found on tiermaker.com. It doesn't have every single Halloween candy ever, but I figured, you know what, I wanted to do something a little bit special for Halloween. Give you a little bit something different than the regular content. So yeah, we're gonna be ranking Halloween candies today. Yeah, we'll just jump into it with that. I don't think there's any better intro than just saying, yeah, this is Halloween candy ranking. Can't get much better than that. So the first thing here on the list is Almond Joy. And this is already going to be a controversial thing because I know a lot of people like Almond Joy and Mounds. I hate coconut. I've had only bad experiences with it. I don't like it whatsoever. Every time I have it, I gag, I spit it out of my mouth. Like I hate coconut. In fact, one time I was playing like punishment pong, like beer pong, but just with punishment instead of like actual alcohol because I'm underage. But we one of the punishments specifically for me was take a shot of coconut water because I can't stand it. So I'm gonna group Almond Joy and Mounds together for this one because to me they're like the same thing. Both of them F tier for me. I can't do it, man. It's just not good. I don't like coconut at all. They gotta go in F tier because of that. I know there's people who love it. I'm just not one of the people who love it, all right? That's all. So you don't have to like the same thing as me. That's all right. I guess now's as good a time as ever to put that disclaimer out there. These are just my opinions. You don't have to agree with my opinion, and you don't have to fight me about them. That's all. That's just the disclaimer. Let's not make it drama-filled. It's just my opinion, all right? Next up, candy corn. Now, candy corn's an interesting one because it's weird. A lot of the time, I don't really like candy corn that much, but occasionally, once every like 2-3 years, I'm like, man, I just need a gigantic bag of candy corn and I'll eat the whole thing like in October. You know, it's not the best ever, but it's not the worst. You know what? This tier, we don't need a B+ or an A+, I don't think. We're gonna delete those. Just make it a little more compact here. We just don't need all that. But for me, candy corn, I'd say it's probably a C tier. Even when I crave it, even when I like really want candy corn, it's not the most filling candy. It's not the most filling candy ever. It's all right though. When you're in like that Halloween spirit and you want some sweet, something just to fill that void of like candy that you want without like buying a giant candy bar, having like a little handful of candy corn is a great alternative. But I'd say overall it's just okay. It's not my favorite, but it's not the worst ever. Next up, I'm guessing they meant to be like a candied apple, not just a regular apple, but for me, I think it's gotta go E. I think the issue with candied apples is I have extremely sensitive teeth. I just can't eat them and enjoy them as much as other people. They're not bad like taste wise. In fact, they're pretty good taste wise. They're great, but like given the option of that or pretty much anything else on the list, I will take anything else. I just can't eat them very easily. Like they're not accessible to me, so I don't eat them. I don't like them very much because of that. For that reason, they gotta go in E tier. Next up, you got Baby Ruth. I think this is actually a pretty underrated candy bar. I'd say it's A. I don't think it's the best candy bar out there, but I think it gets a little bit too much hate. I think the nuttiness with the chocolatiness and the caramel and all that kind of stuff inside of it, it's really good. It's not the best ever, I know, but it's pretty good. It gets the job done. If you're craving a chocolate bar that's not like omega sweet and like a Milky Way or like a Hershey's or a Three Musketeers, it's that alternative route to those that's a little bit less sweet with a little bit more like the nuttiness, but still at its core is a candy bar. So, you know, I'd say overall it's pretty good. I will say I don't really eat these outside of like the Halloween time of year. I don't like go out of my way to buy these at a store, but like if I don't really go trick-or-treating anymore, but like as a kid, if I got one of these while I trick-or-treated, you know, that's pretty good. You're happy with that. You're not upset by it by any means. Next up, Big League Chew. That's got to be D tier because it's like really not even candy, but I would eat it over all these things here. So I feel like it has to go D tier. I don't really know why they would include this. I don't know. Maybe it's just where like I grew up. This was not a Halloween candy. Like I never got a pack of Big League Chew trick-or-treating. In fact, it'd be really rare to even get a piece of gum. Maybe you get like a piece of Double Bubble or something, but never Big League Chew. I think Big League Chew as a gum is like pretty good for the first 10 bites. After that, it kind of sucks, but for that first little bit, it's actually really good. But just because it's not candy, it has to go D tier. So next up, Butterfinger. Butterfinger is one as as a kid and a young adult, I actually didn't like very much. I didn't hate it, I just thought it was worse than a lot of other things. But as I'm growing up and being an adult and things like that, I tend to find myself liking Butterfinger just a little bit more than I used to. It's still not my favorite by any means, but I would still put it probably equal with like Baby Ruth. I think they're both like pretty good. They're not the best ever. I wouldn't pick them over a lot of other candy bars, but they're really not bad by any means. So that's where I would rank those. Next up, caramels or caramels, however you pronounce it for you. I rate them higher than most people would. I think most people that I've ever met don't really like just eat straight up like caramel or caramel, again, whatever. I will though. Like if I have a bag of those, or if I went trick-or-treating and I got a couple of those, I'm happy with that. Maybe it's because I grew up and my grandma always had like a bag of those sitting around, so I would always pop them in my mouth, you know. But I think they're pretty good. In fact, I would take them over both of these other candy bars. That's my first S tier candy for me. It's just good. It is what it is. It's caramel. A lot of these other candy bars and candies in general have caramel in them because it's good. Like they don't have it in there because it doesn't taste good. By itself, it's not as good as everything else, but it's still good. You know what you're getting. It's just like sugar. And especially as a kid, when you just have like little cubes of sugar, I don't think you can really beat that. That's pretty good. That's what you want in a candy. So yeah, that's my first S tier. Next up, like lollipops, little dum-dum pops, whatever you call them. They're B. As a Halloween candy, they're B. Rest of the year, I'd say those are probably higher than most candies for me, because like I find if I go to a bank or something and there's a lollipop, I'm gonna take one. I'm not ashamed of it. You know, they're pretty good. But as a Halloween candy, that's not what you want. When you're going trick-or-treating, you want the chocolate. You want like the good stuff. You want the candy bars. You don't want a lollipop. You can get those any other time of the year. When you're going like trick-or-treating and you're like really trying to rake in the candy, that's not what you want. So for me, it's still okay when you get it, but it's not the best, so it has to go B tier. Halloween pretzels. Listen, might get some flack for this, but it's got to be D tier. I think pretzels are one of like the worst snack foods that there are. Listen, if I want like a savory snack, just get chips or something. Pretzels are just not the wave. They're not filling. It's just a piece of like cardboard with salt on it. Halloween pretzels, really not that much better. Even if you like cover a pretzel in chocolate, at the core, it's still a pretzel. I will say it's nice having them sometimes, so you have that variety. You get that like crunchy saltiness that pretzels have. When you're eating a lot of Halloween candy, that's nice because it's so sweet. You want that savory saltiness to cut through that sweetness. Listen, they're just not good. If I get them, if I was a kid and I got them trick-or-treating, I'd be a little disappointed. I'd be like, man, I wanted like a Hershey's bar. I didn't want some pretzel. And I think that's a statement most people would agree with. As a Halloween candy, they're just D tier. In fact, pretzels in general are probably just D tier, but that's a point for another video. They're just not good enough for me to rank them any higher than that. Next up, Heath bar. I think right alongside with like a lollipop. It's just okay. As a candy bar, it's pretty good, but it just doesn't have that same quality that you want your Halloween candy bars to have. You want that omega sweet, like just super chocolatey, super rich caramel like taste. You don't want like the Heath taste, if that makes sense. I think Heath bar, much like lollipops outside of Halloween, is actually much better. If I get it while I'm trick-or-treating, not as happy. But if I like go to like Dairy Queen or something and there's like a Heath Blizzard, I'm gonna be very happy because that thing's gonna smack. But as a Halloween candy, I think it's just okay. Hershey's, listen, it's gotta be SS tier. We all know Hershey's. We all get them every year. We all enjoy them every year. It's one of the like best that you can get. It's not, listen, if you've had higher quality chocolate in your life, which I have, you'll understand that Hershey's is actually pretty dog shit in terms of chocolate. But like as a Halloween candy, it's one of the best things that you can get. If people are handing out full Hershey's bars, full, like, I don't want to say anything else because I'll spoil some of the other picks, but like if they're handing out full candy bars and you get a full Hershey's bar, you're not going to be upset. So yeah, I feel like it just has to go in the highest tier because of what it is. It may not be the best ever, but it's like McDonald's, right? Like you just know what you're going to get every time. It's going to taste the same and you're going to be happy at the end. So it has to be S tier. Jolly Ranchers. It's tough. I think I have to put it in S tier because not every flavor is created equal. If like you gave me Jolly Ranchers and they were only the blue ones, yeah, that's SS tier for sure. But sometimes when you get Jolly Ranchers, you get a lot of red ones or a lot of green ones and maybe not as many blue ones. You get what I mean. Maybe some grape ones even. Some of them just aren't as good as the best ones. And because of that variety, I feel like it has to drop down to just a regular S tier. It's still amazing. You're still, when you get a Jolly Rancher, super happy. Again, it's good, dude. It's just a cute, like a solid hunk of sugar, just like a caramel. And that's what you want. And that flavor of a Jolly Rancher, very distinct, very strong, very good. But some of the flavors just aren't as good as others. So that's the only reason that it has to be moved down even a little bit. That's the only negative I can find about it. Kit Kat. I think Kit Kat, if it will let me. Why won't it let me put it above caramel? There we go. I think it's better than these two, but just a little bit worse than Hershey's for me. I know that's a little bit of a more controversial take because a lot of people really like Kit Kats. I actually really like Kit Kats too, just not the original Kit Kat. If you've ever had like different flavored like Kit Kats from like an Asian supermarket or something like that, my favorite being like the lemon and sea salt one. Like those are really, really, really good, and they make the original Kit Kat taste like shit. Like it's just not good in comparison. And when you're going trick-or-treating, you're not getting unique flavors. If you get a Kit Kat, you're getting a regular Kit Kat. That's it. So for me, it has to be S tier because of that, because I just don't think the original one is as good as a lot of the other ones. However, it's still not bad. It's still got that crunchy wafer texture, still got the chocolatiness that you want as a Halloween candy. When you get it, you're happy. It's S tier. Just could be better, but you know, original is just okay. Laffy Taffy, as a Halloween candy, gotta be a B. I actually really like Laffy Taffy, and in general taffy, taffy as a whole candy I really like. But as a Halloween candy, it's just not as good. I feel like that's not what I'm looking for in a Halloween candy, just like these other two in B tier. So I feel like it's just a B tier candy, especially it's kind of the same thing as Jolly Ranchers. If you get like the green or yellow one, you're happy, but any of the other ones are just okay. So it's just an okay candy overall. Regular M&Ms, absolute dog shit. I hate regular M&Ms. I may even, no, I'll leave it at C, because these two are barely even candy, so it has to be better than them. But man, I hate regular M&Ms. I've tweeted about it before and everything. I hate regular M&Ms, man. If you like regular M&Ms, you're a weirdo. Peanut M&Ms, amazing. Like crispy M&Ms, amazing. Caramel M&Ms, good for the first three. After that, they're too much. But any other kind of M&M is better than regular. If you like regular M&Ms, I can't be friends with you. They're just not good. They're not good. It's just low quality chocolate wrapped around a low quality shell, and it doesn't make for an enjoyable experience. Mike and Ike's. Mike and Ike's actually used to be my favorite candy in general. Not as much anymore, but in general, they used to be my favorite candy. I think they're an A tier Halloween candy. I think only because, like I've said a couple times, that chocolatey sugariness that you usually get in a lot of your Halloween candies, you need something to cut through that. And I think the fruity sweet hit that you get from a Mike and Ike really cuts through that a lot and helps a lot with that. It's still not the best candy ever, and if I received it on Halloween, I don't want too many of them. If I got like 2 or 3, if I'm trick-or-treating, I'm happy, but if you get more than that, it's like, okay, that's a little bit too much. So, but overall, it's all right. It's gotta go in A. Milk Duds. As a kid, I used to think Milk Duds were like S tier. As an adult, I think they're A. I think they're the kind of basically like the Baby Ruth and Butterfinger of like this type of candy. It's chocolatey, it's got like that caramel in it, and it's okay, but it's just like it's just okay. It doesn't really get much like more okay than that. They're really sticky and tough to chew, which can put a damper on like your Halloween experience. Like if you're just chowing down on your Halloween candy and you're coming across Milk Duds, you're probably going to save those more towards the end or the beginning. Like you don't want to chew them so much and like wear your jaw out, all that kind of stuff. So Milk Duds is A. They're okay, but not my favorite anymore. This one is one that I used to hate a lot, actually. But now, as an adult, I think it's S tier again. It's Mr. Goodbar. It's just a Hershey's with peanuts in it. Like it's really good. It has all that great quality of a Hershey's bar, but with nuts, which is exactly what you want, despite what many people think. Like that nut hit cuts through a lot of the chocolate sweetness and allows you to eat more. I love Mr. Goodbar. I think they're great. So SS tier for me. Three Musketeers used to be up here, now probably down here. I think they're pretty bad, actually. That just chocolate and nougat, like it seems like it will be okay, but it's just in like practice pretty bad. I think I liked it a lot as a kid because I don't know if anybody else did this, but like I was a little weird, but I would like take all the chocolate off and then just eat the piece of nougat and then eat the chocolate after. I don't know if anybody else did that, but like it was like a little adventure, I guess, which made me like it a little bit more, even if the taste was just okay. But I'm not a little child anymore, and I will just eat a candy bar like a normal person, in which case this is it's just all right. It's not very good, to be honest. There's just so many better candy bars out there. Next up, Milky Way. I think it's SS tier. Recently, I've come to discover a lot of people don't really like Milky Ways that much in comparison to a lot of these other like candy bars and things that will go up towards the top. I still think they're great. I don't think they're the best. I think there's one other one that's better, but I think they're pretty good. I think I put them in the same category as the other two up here, where like if I get them, I'm happy. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm happy about it. So I don't know. I don't get the hate for Milky Way. I think it's great. Caramel, chocolate, like it's good. It's good. Next up, I don't even know what the hell these things are called, but I think everybody has had them before. They're dog shit. Absolute dog shit candy. Like, if I just don't understand it, I could pick any of these things above before these. In fact, I'd even take Big League Chew and pretzels before I ate some of these. They're just not good. It's like chalk. You're eating a piece of chalk, and like people call that candy. It's maybe back in the day before there was really good candy bars out there or something, this was like the go-to, but man, nowadays I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, S tier. Even outside of Halloween, that's an S tier candy. Like, it's so good. Everybody loves Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Like, if you're saying you don't like Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, you're fucking lying, bro. They're so good. It's the perfect balance of chocolate and peanut butter. It's got that creaminess of the peanut butter mixed with the sweetness of the chocolate and the sweet and savory. It's just so good. It's so good. I don't know how anybody could argue that it's anything less than SS tier, unless maybe you like hate peanut butter or something. But like, man, even if you hate it, I don't see how you can rank it any bit lower than that. Swedish Fish, they fall into like the same category as taffy for me. They're just, it's too much for Halloween. If as an adult I will occasionally buy like a bag of Swedish Fish and like eat 1 or 2 a day, and that's it, but like it's just not a great Halloween candy. In fact, I might even drop it to here. Yeah, I think that's more accurate. It's just not a good Halloween candy. It's just too much to chew. It's too sweet. The flavor's way too different from every other Halloween candy. It's just not what you want during Halloween, at least. Skittles, I'd say I'd rank them right above Kit Kat. I don't think they're SS tier unless you're getting different types of Skittles, like the purple bag or the blue one, like the tropical, whatever they are. Those are better than these. But if you're just eating like regular Skittles, they're pretty good, but you need a pack or 2 of them on Halloween. It's got that same quality that like the Jolly Rancher does, where it's like that fruitiness that kind of cuts through all that strong sweet chocolate. You need a couple packs of Skittles. Again, if you get like the sour Skittles or the tropical Skittles, those are better, but you know what? Regular Skittles are okay. I'd still put them at S, but they could be better, but that's fine where it's at. Snickers, I think, is by far here, let's rearrange this a little bit. I think this is the order. I think Snickers is the best candy bar that you can get. Maybe people won't agree with that, but I think it's true. It's got like the nuts, it's got the chocolate, it's got the caramel. It's got everything that you want in a Halloween candy bar, and just a candy bar in general. It's got a lot of variety in it, and you're not gonna get tired of eating it. You're gonna get a lot of them on Halloween, and you're never gonna like throw any of them away. You're gonna eat all the Snickers. You're just gonna. They're good. Everybody likes Snickers for a reason. Honestly, I'm hard-pressed to even find anything bad to say about Snickers. Maybe it's a little bit too sweet sometimes. Maybe if you're eating too many of them in a row, you're gonna get a little sick of them. But like, even just that as an anecdote, like that, it's hard to argue for me that Snickers is worse than like the best candy on this list. Sour Patch Kids, I think, are high S tier. I think so far it's the best fruity candy that we've had. It has that fruitiness, but it also has that sour hit, which takes like all the edge away of any of the candies that you had before it, and it's Sour Patch Kids. Even adults love Sour Patch Kids for a reason. They're very good. They're very good. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put them up here. I think they're the best fruit candy that you can have, only because they're sour. If you have like sour Skittles, I think those are probably above, but like Sour Patch Kids just as a candy, when you get those on Halloween, you're excited, because like Sour Patch Kids are just good, man. They're just good. I'd put them even above Milky Way, to be honest. I think Sour Patch Kids are great. Next up, Starburst. I think this one is where I was originally going to rank Sour Patch Kids, but I think Starbursts are just a little bit worse than Sour Patch Kids. Not by much, but just a little bit. only because they don't have that sour hit to them. I think fruity wise and like chewy, like they're very chewy, they're very fruity, they cut through that chocolate, which is what you want from your fruity candy on Halloween. You're gonna get a lot of them. They always come in those little 2-pack. They're great. I don't think anybody's complaining about Starburst. The only issue that I have with them is sometimes you get like the stale ones, which are really hard and like not as enjoyable, but even with those, they're still probably better than a lot of the other candies on here. So next up, these little strawberry candies, they're B tier. You get a couple of them on Halloween. They're not disappointing, but they're not great. They're just okay. Everybody's grandma has like a couple of those sitting at their house, you know what I mean? And you eat them. They're all right. They're not great, but they get the job done if you need a quick little strawberry candy. Next up, sweet tarts. Sweet tarts I think are good, just not as good as anything above them. I'm gonna put it above Baby Ruth. They have like the same quality of like Starburst and Skittles in terms of like that fruitiness, but they also have like a little bit of, I mean, they're sweet tarts for a reason. They're very tart, and they're good. They're just not as good as like Jolly Ranchers, Skittles, Starburst, Sour Patch Kids. They're the worst of the bunch. That being said, they're still better than like Mike and Ike's, Laffy Taffy, Strawberry Candy, Lollipops. Like they're still better than that, but they're still worse than that. So I think A tier is a fitting place for that. Toblerone, at least where I lived, we didn't really get these a lot for Halloween, but having eaten them like as a person, I think it's just a B tier. If I got it on Halloween, I'd be okay with it, but it's just okay at best. I think I'd take everything above it before I had a Toblerone. It's not bad, but it's just okay. Tootsie Rolls, you get a lot of Tootsie Rolls for some reason on Halloween. They're okay. The fruity ones I think are better for Halloween, at least, because you get that, I've talked about it so much, but that fruity hit to cut through a lot of the other candies I think is good. Regular Tootsie Rolls I'm wearing probably down here, maybe even right here. They're not great. You're not happy really when you get a Tootsie Roll. They have that same quality of like Starburst, where sometimes you get like the really hard ones and like they're just not great. Next up, Twix. People like Twix a lot more than me. I think Twix is the worst of like the chocolate candy bars, only because I just don't like the flavor of the cookie as much as other people do. I think the cookie is a good texture addition in comparison to a lot of the other ones. I think that crunch is really nice, and that like, yeah, I think the crunch is really nice. The cookie flavor for me is just not the best, so I drank it worse than all these other ones, but still better than Kit Kat, like the original Kit Kat I'd rank. So I think S tier is fitting for Twix. Only a couple more here, but we'll go with Twizzlers next. I actually think Twizzlers are probably S tier, probably right under Twix. That's gonna be a little bit controversial. I know people don't like Twizzlers as much as me, but I really like Twizzlers. I think it has that fruity quality, as I've talked about so many times, but it just has like, I don't know, I just can eat unlimited amount of Twizzlers and be like okay, versus a lot of the other fruity ones where it's like after a while you need to switch it up. I think Twizzlers are just great. I think like at jobs I've had like just buckets of Twizzlers where I just pull one out and eat one, and like that was a little cool little snack. I think Twizzlers are great. I don't think there's really many flaws with them. I just think they're just not as good as everything else, which is why I have to put them in S tier. And the last candy on the list, Whoppers. Some people like these, but man, I do not. I think they're, even as a kid, I think they were like the worst candy that I got. I mean, obviously, like if I got any of this stuff, I'd be upset because I won't eat most of this. But like Whoppers, they were the only one that I would eat and be sad about eating, if that makes sense. I would eat them and just be like, man, that's not good. I wish I had any other candy right now. That'd be the candy at the bottom of the bag that I was like, you know what? I'm out of the rest, so I gotta eat the Whoppers now and just be disappointed for a while. I don't think Whoppers are good. The texture is it's nice having that texture variety, but that's about the only redeeming quality for it for me. I just don't think they're good. But either way, guys, that's the tier list for the Halloween candy. I think that's a pretty good tier list. I don't have any problems with that. Hopefully nobody else does either, but we'll see. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Happy Halloween for all those who are celebrating, or even if you don't celebrate, happy Halloween, whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, turn notifications on for when I post videos just like this. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.